All right, so today we're doing a deep dive into something super relevant for anyone in a leadership position. We're talking about cybersecurity. You shared some really interesting stuff with me, and I'm hoping we can break down why this is such a critical priority, not just for the IT folks, but for, well, for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. It's really time to move past thinking about cybersecurity as just a tech issue that you can just delegate away.
Right, so we're not talking about, like, remembering to update your passwords or whatever. This is bigger.
Way bigger. It's a fundamental business risk. I mean, think about it. A cyber attack can damage your finances, tank your reputation, basically disrupt your entire operation.
Okay, so paint me a picture here. What's the worst case scenario?
Well, the average data breach globally, you're looking at over $4 million in costs.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It is, and that's just the direct financial hit. But then you've got the potential damage to your brand, the loss of customer trust. That can be really tough to recover from.
So it's not just about fixing the technical problem. It's about, like, the long-term fallout.
Exactly. Leaders really need to view cybersecurity as a core business function these days, right up there with things like, finance and operations.
Not just an optional add-on anymore.
Definitely not. It's about resilience, ensuring the long-term stability of the whole organization. And the challenge for leaders is how to translate these kind of complex digital threats into actual effective business strategies.
Right, because I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. You see these headlines about, I don't know, like the latest data breach or whatever. But how do you actually take that information and turn it into action?
Well, a good place to start is by understanding the specific threats you need to be aware of. Your sources highlighted a few key areas, things like phishing attacks.
By those emails that try to trick your employees into giving up their passwords and stuff.
Exactly. Then you've got ransomware. Essentially, it's digital extortion. They lock down your systems, encrypt your data, and demand payment to release it.
That sounds terrifying.
It can be, and it's becoming increasingly common. We also can't forget about insider threats.
You mean like disgruntled employees or something?
It could be, or sometimes it's unintentional. Maybe an employee falls for a phishing scam or accidentally exposes sensitive data. But the point is, the risks can come from inside your own organization as well.
Okay, so that's phishing, ransomware, and insider threats. What else?
Well, we've also got to consider the vulnerabilities that come with cloud services. Many organizations are moving their data and operations to the cloud.
Right, which makes sense. It's convenient, it's scalable.
Sure, it has its advantages, but it also introduces new security challenges. And then you've got the whole complexity of supply chains.
Right, because if one of your vendors has weak security, it can impact you too.
Exactly. It's like a chain. The weakest link can bring down the whole thing. And what's really concerning is how rapidly these threats are evolving. Attackers are constantly finding new ways to exploit vulnerabilities. They're even using AI now to create more sophisticated attacks.
So, given all of that, what can leaders actually do to, like, protect themselves and their organizations?
Well, the good news is there are some concrete steps you can take. Your sources actually outlined 5 key areas.
Okay, well, through.
First and foremost, comprehensive security awareness training for every single employee.
Make sure everyone's on the same page, understands the risks.
Exactly. Because human error is often the weakest link. A well-informed team who can spot a phishing email or report suspicious activity is your first line of defense.
Makes sense. What's next?
Clear, consistently enforce security policies and procedures. This provides a framework for everyone to follow, helps minimize risk across the board.
So kind of setting the ground rules for how everyone should be handling sensitive data, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Then the third element is investing in the right security technologies and infrastructure.
Things like firewalls, antivirus software, all that.
Right. And intrusion detection systems, data encryption, all of those tools are crucial.
But it's not just about having the tools, right?
Yeah.
You also need to know how to use them.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the fourth step, robust incident response plans.
So what happens if, despite all our best efforts, there is a breach?
That's where your incident response plan comes in. It outlines exactly what to do, who to contact, how to contain the damage. A well-rehearsed plan can significantly reduce the impact of an attack.
So it's kind of like a fire drill, but for cyber attacks.
Exactly. And finally, the fifth step is continuous assessment and updates. The threat landscape is constantly evolving, so your defenses need to keep pace. Regularly review your security measures, make sure they're up to date, and adapt to new threats.
So it's not a one-time fix, it's an ongoing process.
Absolutely. And I think this highlights a crucial point for leaders. Your role isn't to become a cybersecurity expert, but to ask the right strategic questions.
Okay, so like what kind of questions?
Well, things like, what are our most critical assets? Where are they located? What are our potential vulnerabilities? What would be the business impact of a successful cyber attack? And crucially, what is our plan to prevent and respond to these incidents?
So it's about understanding the risks and making sure you have the right people and processes in place to manage them.
Exactly. It's about setting the tone from the top, creating a culture where security is everyone's responsibility, and understanding that inaction has real business consequences.
Right, because ultimately this isn't just an IT issue. It's about protecting your entire organization.
And when you, as a leader, prioritize cybersecurity, it sends a powerful message to your team. It shows that you take it seriously, and it encourages a culture of vigilance and accountability.
Which is ultimately your strongest line of defense.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive. So as we wrap up, what's one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
The cyber landscape is constantly changing, so your commitment to understanding the risks and fostering a security-conscious culture is absolutely essential.
Right, because it's not a matter of if, but when. And the more prepared you are, the better you'll be able to weather the storm.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So to all our listeners out there, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on our discussion today. What's one concrete action you can take within your sphere of influence to enhance your organization's security posture? Because even small steps can make a big difference. And remember, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into cybersecurity for leaders. Stay safe out there.
Thanks for having me.